Hi, and welcome to this brand new video. In this video, we're going to be tackling the problem on the screen, where basically you need to remove the nth node not from the beginning, but from the end of the list. So for example, if you're given this linked list here, and you are given n equals 2, you're not removing the second element, you're removing the second from the end, in which in this case is 4. So in order to solve this problem, what we're first going to do is we're going to have to iterate through the list. And we're going to create a counter which basically just stores the number of nodes. So at the beginning, counter is equal to 0, but as we iterate, at the end, we're going to get counter is equal to 5 because there are 5 nodes. Afterwards, if we know that n is equal to 2, what we're going to subtract n from counter. So that means right now, counter is equal to 3. And then we'll just iterate through that. We'll go to the third node. You can see here that the third node is actually the one that we want. So that's why we're just going to go 1 back. So instead of doing counter equals 3, we're going to again subtract 1 from it so that counter is not 3, but counter is equal to 2 instead. And that's why we're going to be able to arrive at this node. We want to arrive at this node because then we can say node.next, so basically the node that comes after it, is equal to node.next dot next. So this basically sets this node's next value to the one after that. And by removing this node from the linked list, that's all we need to do. We don't need to delete it from memory. We just need to remove it from this linked list. If in the weird situation, we get not n equals 2, but let's say n equals 5. In this case, counter and n are equal. When this happens, we're just going to, that means we just need to remove the first node, which means that we're just going to, instead of doing this complicated mess, which serves no purpose whatsoever in this scenario, we're going to do node.next. We're just going to return node.next because we're already at the first value. So in order to remove it, we just need to return the second value onward. So that's how we're going to be coding this project. So in order to do this, let's first start with our counter. And we need to duplicate head. So when we iterate it the first time, we can still access the first node. So I'm just going to duplicate it. And then we can iterate through head. So while head is not equal to null, counter plus plus, and then we're going to set head is equal to head.next. Afterwards, we need to check whether counter is equal to n like we just saw here. So if counter is equal to n, we can just return dupe.next. Otherwise, we need to create another duplicate. The reason is because we need to return the head of the linked list. So when we iterate it through again, in order to do this node.next is equal node.next.next, we won't have access to the first node unless we duplicate it again. We're just going to subtract n minus 1. No, sorry, n plus 1 because we're subtracting. And then we're going to say, while counter is not equal to 0, we're going to go to the next node. This is just iterating through so that we arrive at node number 3 here. Counter minus minus. At this position, we're going to do the code that we just wrote here. Dupe.next is equal to dupe.next.next. And then we just return our duplicate so that we return the head. Let's run this program. Perfect, it works, and let's submit it. And perfect, our code is able to work. I hope this video was helpful and see you in the next video.